Okay, stuff coming through to that. Let's see when the stuff through to the various sub-channels. Oh, YouTube appears to be reacting. Twitch is reacting. And audio on... We have audio on both channels.
We have the audio, yeah.
We are working, yeah.
Do you know where that came from?
What?
Just fucking around in Call of Duty 1. We are going to fight the Germans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Good day, my Stuff and Cram.
Skazz.
Welcome to episode 171 of the Rand Nerds podcast.
Are you sure?
I am sure this time. We are
This time?
Well, it is the case of this time. We're on the countdown to 200. We're getting there. We are closer to 200 than we were 21 episodes ago.
So, just as a random note, what happens if we cock up and episode 200 is actually 199? Or 201? What if we're so drunk we don't know?
That's what we do. We don't do an episode 200, we do an episode 201, and that will throw people off completely. They'll be wondering, where is this missing episode?
Yeah, everyone's like, where is it? Where is it? Oh yeah, that's the one where we had a private audience for Kim.
Yeah, that's when Gabe came on.
Yeah. we had the inside scoop on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, we had the exclusive reveal of Half-Life 3 on that one.
Yep, on the Steam Deck.
On the Steam Deck.
And not Gen 1 Steam Deck, Gen 2 Steam Deck.
We are playing it live.
It was fantastic. With the Index 3. And people are going to be like, but there's not even an Index 2 yet. See, Valve can't count to 3.
The Index 3 gets released with Half-Life 3. That's the rule.
That's it. So
that's how it's going to work.
Don't expect it until, I don't know, how long is Valve time now? Is there an actual accurate measurement for Valve time? There must be. That can't just be a meme.
I know they're now using Valve time instead of carbon dating. Because it goes longer, so they can make it back.
Look... So Half-Life, what you're saying is like Half-Life 3 is going to turn up around about the same time as the heat death of the universe?
Pretty much. As the last survivor of humanity watches the universe about to blink out, assuming we do survive that long, their PC will just ping saying, Half-Life 3 is now ready to play.
It'll probably be that excitement that actually causes the whole thing to just blink out of existence.
Yeah, that is the last bit of energy used. He's downloading those last 2 bits of like Alex's shorts to render it properly is what causes Half-Life, the death of the universe.
That'd be beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Yay! No.
Gone.
So, guys, what have you been messing around with this week?
Well, I've not really been gaming much, to be honest. It's been more CyberPunk. Even though I beat the story, I went back to it for some reason.
Mate, to be honest, I actually played something different. There's perfect cause. I'm playing CyberPunk, and I just thought we can't have another hour and a half discussing CyberPunk again.
Have you done the story yet? Because I looked the other day, and we were neck and neck at 47 hours.
I'm now on 56 hours, and I've just got drawn into doing some of the side missions again. So basically, storyline wise, where did I get up to when we last? I'm not much further from when I streamed it. Storyline wise, I've done the Voodoo Boys.
Yeah.
I've captured that guy in the AV in the ship.
Oh yeah.
We brought him down, and I've got to meet Takamara.
Yeah.
In the cafe again, and that's where I'm sat now. I've been doing side missions instead.
Mate, oh my god.
I'm on 56 hours now.
See, now my playtime, when we said before, no way people have beat that story in 30 hours.
Yeah.
I looked at my actual playtime, and it was literally 30 hours on the button.
Oh wow, okay.
I got 3 endings in 30 hours.
So the actual main story is quite short then.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
So there is more because there are two, I believe, at least two other possible endings I can get, but they'll take
There is
more
5 endings,
legwork.
yeah.
Yeah. So
There is
I've
5
got
endings.
3 of them. I've got two left to get.
Cool.
But
So
fun.
yeah, no, I'm still really enjoying it. I play because the side missions are just so actually all the proper ones are actually so in depth.
Mm.
I've not played a short one yet. I think the short one I've played has been like over an hour.
So which side missions in particular are you doing?
So I'm doing the basically the ones where you have proper conversation. They actually call you up, have a proper conversation with you, and you talk, and you actually go off. So the props. So I've done the one where. So what I did. I think the last one I did today was Param's like mission she gives you where you have to go rescue Sol from being kidnapped.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've done that one today. The one I did last night, which was really fucked up, was the mad guy who was like kidnapping people and and he was like a son of a dairy farmer.
I haven't done that one.
Oh, that is. Have you done the one where have you done the one with the cop, River? Have you done anything with him yet?
No.
Okay, so have you got a mission yet with these two like this woman calls you, I think, because Elizabeth Penzance calls you, and she is like the wife of the husband who's one of the mayoral candidates.
Yeah, I've just started her quest line. Yeah.
Right, okay, so you do her quest line, you'll meet a guy called River. After you complete it, he'll then call you back and you'll get on a second quest afterwards. That is some fucked up shit, is what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
That actually disturbed me.
You mean relating to the cop or to the couple?
Relation to the cop, well, not relation to relation to the cop. I won't spoil it for you,
Okay.
but it's some real fucked up shit.
Sure.
So,
Is it the cop that you find out about through the BD?
no, it's so cop. So you get put in. So after you meet the couple, they sort of like say, "Hey, we think this guy, mayor, he's died of a heart attack."
Yeah, but they make you do a BD first that points you in the direction of the copper.
Cop, yes,
Yeah.
it is him. That's him.
Yeah.
That's his name's River, and you call it in your next step of that mission after the BD is to contact him.
Yeah. That's as far as I got. I didn't bother calling him up.
All right. Well, once you've done that mission, the mission after that when he calls you back, that is a fucked up mission, I tell you.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it now.
Actually, that was actually like, it's not often I go, oh god, when I'm playing a game, not in a, oh god, this is just wrong on every level.
Yeah.
This is just disturbing on every possible level. It's not often I get that in a game.
Sounds beautiful.
That made me do that. I think that's because of the subject matter. It's similar to what I do. Well, you'll see what I mean when you play it.
Okay.
So I'll be interested to you have to drop me a message once you've played that mission. But yeah. So yeah, well, turns into CyberPunk Revisited Part 2. I'm still really enjoying. I've really got back into it. I actually look for. I'm actually like I want to see. I want to play it now. I want to play that.
Yeah. I started playing it on GeForce Now actually.
Oh, cool.
Because I had to format my laptop the other day, and I couldn't be bothered to reinstall it, so I thought, fuck it. I actually went into one of my backpacks and pulled out my NVIDIA Shield, updated that, hooked it up to my TV, and I was like, yep, I'm just gonna play me some Cyberpunk. Like, job done. I don't need a PC. I'll just stream it.
Works fine, doesn't it? So
plays really well.
Yeah, looks really good.
It does, and I was really quite enjoying it. Running around shooting people in the face. Although I still must say, people thought it was hilarious that at times I was like, right, I'm going to do what Ram's supposed to do, right? Because I've seen Ram try this stealth shit, right? And it just don't fucking work, mate. It just don't work. And I'm like, oh, they're all gone. Oh, well, I stealthed it, lads. Right, off we go.
there are a couple of missions where this being stealthy is an optional objective. As in, like, we should do this quietly.
Yeah.
And if I actually put my mind to it, I can do it stealthily. I tell you actually, when other people are watching me, I tend to rush.
It takes ages to stealth in that game.
Yeah. And that's why I tend to rush it, because I feel like someone's watching me. I don't want them to just sit there waiting. Because when I do stuff properly, sometimes you will be sat there for like 5 minutes just
Yeah, you can be, yeah.
observing.
Well, I
And
shoot that. I did that on one of my streams. I was like sat there. I'd hacked into the camera system, and I was just sat there like, quick hack, wait, quick hack, wait. There's another guy. Distract, quick hack, wait.
yeah.
It's like, fucking hell. If I'd have just ran in there with my shotgun, this would have been over by now.
Yeah. I'm now level 24, and I've got 40 street cred. I'm now at.
I don't know what my street credit. I think you're still actually ahead of me level wise.
Yeah, but if you've gone and just plowed straight through the main mission,
I have done quite a few of the side stuff. I have
Yeah.
done quite a few.
I've done quite a lot of sides before I went back to the main mission.
Oh sure. Well, I've done. You know that boxing match that you didn't like against the twins.
I don't like that.
I had never lost that until the other day when I was streaming live on GeForce Now, and I got wrecked hard. I was like, "What the fuck?" I was parrying punches and everything, and I just got wrecked. I got ran into the ground.
I think the trouble is I've forgotten how to do melee. I've forgotten I've forgotten how to dodge and stuff. So I was like, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
And they just mullered me. It's a bit like what was it the other day that I'd forgotten how to do, because I'd been sure I did the tutorial that I suddenly found out how to do again. What was it the other day? I was like, oh, I can do this. Of course I can. Silly me. I can't remember what it was now. There was some random functionality that was built together. Like, oh yeah, you can do this. Oh, and I completely forgot about it.
I had stuff like that with the craft and some of the hacks.
I forgot that you could sneak up people and grab them. And knock them out.
Yeah, that's important, mate.
I forgot you could do that.
There's a mission involving monks where they request that if you go in, you don't kill anyone. And because if you alert them, they go to kill the monk. So you have to sneaky, and he's not happy with you if you kill anyone. So you gotta, sneak, crunch him a little bit, watch him fall to the floor.
Yeah, well, I forgot you could do that. So consequently, I've been stealthing, thinking I couldn't do that.
You've just been like, stealth. Right, here's my gun. Bang! You're fucking dead, you prick.
Actually, though,
I got an add-on that made all my shots non-lethal.
Oh yeah, I've got
What
that.
the fuck? I was like, I'll never use that.
I got that quite early on, because you get, when you take on the cyber psychos.
Yeah.
She says she prefers it if you don't kill them.
Yeah.
I think you get a bit of a bonus. So I got that add-on very early on, but only if the last it's only the sort of like death shot that counts.
Yeah.
So you can get really weak with all your quick hacks and stuff. As long as you finish them off with your non-lethal gun, that's all that matters.
Mate, all I use is a baseball bat. Every time I need to do something non-lethal, I just take a baseball bat to someone's head.
yeah. It's weird to think that baseball bat is non-lethal.
Well, at one point, I was walking sticking people.
Admittedly, it's not much weirder thinking that this gun fires non-lethal bullets. That's not much weirder than that, to be fair.
And you're all like, wait, what?
I literally plug in a USB in my gun. Now it's the bullets it fires are non-lethal.
Non-lethal. It's like there's a bit in Neuromancer where he's like, this guy's like, he's covering another guy at a bar, and this guy basically pulls out like an anti-tank fucking thing. Like the rounds it would fire are like bigger than your fist. You could put your fist down the barrel of the fucking gun. It's like, oh yes, it's non-lethal. I mean, technically non-lethal. Jelly rounds. It's like, yeah, but if he fucking hits you with it, it's going to disintegrate what the fuck ever he hits with it. So it's like, he hits your leg is just going to snap and fly off. Well, it's non-lethal. I guess that counts.
Yeah, you're still alive. It's non-lethal.
So what's your problem? Stop complaining.
Yeah, but I've now got enough perks, basically, that I get bonuses now. Like if I shoot someone, if they don't know I'm there and I shoot them, I get bonus damage, bonus crits, all this sort of stuff added onto the gun. Which means basically now I can, because I said to you last week, the problem is reliability. Shooting someone in the head with a gun in stealth, it should be a binary thing. You're going to take him out or you're not. That should be communicated to you like in advance, so you can tell what you've got to do.
Yeah.
I've now got a stage where firing my pistol will do something like 1,200 points of damage.
Yeah.
If I do it stealthily.
Yeah.
So the pistol is now a stealth. I can now stealth with the pistol as long as I keep it upgraded.
Yeah. No,
So
I get I get that because I ended up going pistol towards the end, because the pistol tree has got a shit ton of crit bonuses on it.
yeah,
You can give yourself like 20% more damage with pistols. Um, and then there's like, oh yeah, plus 30% on headshots, and then, add on another 20% on crit damage, and then increase the likelihood of getting crits with pistols. And it's just like, you can just walk in there and just everything dies.
yeah.
So,
I'm still not. I don't feel. I'm now. As I've been upgrading all my tech or tree. So, um, intelligence is now 10. And is it technology, the one that's on the top right, where you does your crafting and engineering? Is that
I
technology?
know the one you're on about.
Yeah, that's now level 12.
Hmm.
My pistols, my reflexes, which is also all your weapons, that's still only on 6.
Right.
I've very much been heavily into the Netrunner tree
Yeah.
and just sort of hacking my way through things. And it's getting stage now where it's like I've got my deck is now upgraded so that I have, I think, like 19 RAM slots.
Ah, so that must be nice. I ended the game with 9.
Oh, my base deck has got 10.
There you
My
go.
base deck has got 10 RAM slots, and I can have Buffer is 7, and I can have 5 quick hacks equipped.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, I mean, wow.
It was a slow burn at some points when I was doing the let's stealth like RAM moments.
Yeah,
Because
they must take.
RAM regen was slow.
I bet you haven't upgraded all the RAM. Yeah, but I was saying, I bet you haven't upgraded all the RAM regenning times as well. So my RAM really regens very quick.
Yeah, mine not so much. In the end, I stacked into reflexes for the pistol and the standard character like physical trait because I found myself being able to rip open doors.
Yes.
Because there were loads of places where it was like, oh yeah, by the way, you can literally bypass this entire area just by pulling this fucking door off the hinges. I was like,
Yeah.
excellent, I'll do that. And then with the pistol, because I was doing such massive damage per crit, I was wiping out entire rooms of people faster with the pistol than I was with an assault rifle. So I just stacked reflex and body and just steamrolled people, basically.
I think it's fair credit to this game that we've both played it, yet we have both diverged quite severely actually in our character styles and creations. That we both can sort of do the other stuff a little bit, but in a straight up gunfight, you'll win.
Yeah.
You're gonna be able to just deal the damage. But in a mission where we're having to sort of get round and see place fairly quickly or very accurately or reliably take people out of quick hacks, I'll probably win.
Yeah, for sure.
So that is yeah. We'll have to move on because I don't want to get into
Yeah,
another StarPunk game. But I think it's correct. This game has been severely shafted in its opinion. The popular opinion is severely shafted the game for really unfair reasons.
I've managed to convince a few people to buy the game on PC and get a GeForce Now subscription to give it a go. So, because I was like, I don't think it deserves half the shit it got. I wasn't a huge fan when I first got it, but the more I played it, the more I liked it. And one of those endings really fucking made me tingle. I was like, oh, mate. So,
yeah. I do generally believe in 2 or 3 years' time, as it's got cheaper, people picked up on sales and so forth and played it. The tide will turn back.
Yes.
And the people who will be saying it's shit will be the ones who probably never played it.
Well, it's really... I just want to throw out there, just for anyone that's really on the fence about it, the main storyline is actually really well written. It's not like any of the other games that have come out like it, like Morrowind's all right. Skyrim, Oblivion, Fallout 3, Fallout 4. New Vegas was all right. Writing-wise, from what I understand, but I never played that one.
New Vegas is very good. I think it's very good writing,
but
especially the add-ons.
But CyberPunk was, mate, some of the stuff that goes on in that was really fucking good. And if you're a fan of the cyberpunk genre and have read half as many cyberpunk books as I have, the little nods here and there to all the different books is Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, there are lots. And also, I think it's one of the few games because often when you play games where you have main characters and so forth, it's very truncated. So it's very sandbox. So that the main people you meet in the main campaign are all by themselves. But the one side character, the important side character, Johnny Silverhand, he pops up in nearly all the side missions to chat with you.
Yep.
As you're doing stuff, he'll pop up and he'll basically offer you advice or hints and give you and not, he'll give his opinion on the matter and so forth. And sometimes they're quite so sometimes he'll just pop there just to watch and sort of talk to people. And also sometimes he's very sympathetic. He'll say, "What a shit life this poor chap has listened to." Or like there's one bit where he takes you over to this guy who's just playing music,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "This guy here, look at him. He is a proper musician. You know, he's doing it for the love of the music and so forth." I'm very heavily paraphrasing here. He's sort of what we were trying to be.
Yeah.
And it's just this random. But that's a side mission. That's a little side mission that pops up, and he pops up in all the side missions.
Yeah.
And that's neat. They've actually gone the hassle of actually putting a main, what is basically the main character and companion character, all split it, and he reappears again. He'll chat to you and talk to you all throughout the game.
I just want to throw out there, I loved
Really?
Johnny's character development.
Mm.
Loved Johnny's character development.
Yeah.
Started off as a royal cunt.
Oh yeah.
And then as time went on, you know, because we're turning this into the Cyberpunk cast again, but
Yes.
the point of Cyberpunk is that Johnny and V are becoming one and the same person. So as time goes on, V becomes more like Johnny, Johnny becomes more like V. The line is blurred. And so V's kind of compassion, empathy kind of bleeds into Johnny, and it makes him question how he lived his life. And kind of the other way round for V,
Yeah.
that V starts to pick up a lot of Johnny's ego, and
Yeah.
I thought it was really nice.
It's implied that when you it's implied because often you'll have like most RPGs when you talk to people you have the option of getting the nice option or the shitty the shitty response or the nice response or the I'm going to try and screw you over response. Oh yeah, I will help you rescue your family, but I want some cold hard cash here and so forth. It's implied, I think, because normally that's the player choice. It's how your character will develop. I think it's actually implied. The option depends on which way you're leaning, Johnny or V.
Mm-hmm.
Which way you're leaning is the response you're going to give to these people.
Yeah.
And it's more like, and they say his influence will start to influence what you say and what you do. And I think that's how it reflects in the choices you make. It is him influencing you, and thus the character responses represents what he's doing to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know if that was the intentional thing of it. That's how I sort of interpreted what was going on anyway.
I will have to talk to you about it after the podcast, but there's some really nice little bits that I think you'll enjoy later on in the game.
I will, but no spoilers.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Yeah,
right, we better go. So what else?
What I've actually been doing, other than just dicking around in Cyberpunk still, I managed to get my hands on a low-end graphics card, a low-profile graphics card. As you know, I like my low-profile machines because I consoleize them a bit. And it didn't go quite according to plan. That was entirely my fault. But I managed to get a GTX 1650 low profile, which is it's not powerful at all. But it makes a PC around about the Pro models of last gen consoles kind of thing. Maybe a bit better. I managed to get one of those and popped it in one of my old machines because I gave my graphics card away last year. One of my graphics cards away last year, so I finally managed to replace it at a little bit of a premium. And due to a run of issues with what I wanted to do with that machine, I've gone back to installing SteamOS on this little console machine, or this little consoleized machine, and I'm dicking around with SteamOS and Linux gaming again. And because we were talking about the Steam Deck before, And I just wanted to see how it had gone, because I was interested to see if perhaps they had included Proton and Steam Play, and if they were going to update the beta image to the version 3 that's Arch based rather than the Debian based one. And yeah, so I just took a memory stick and installed the Debian Jessie build of SteamOS, and I've spent the last few days dicking around with it. Well, I say the last few days, actually today, dicking around with it, because I kind of didn't want to play on it until I pulled this out of my loft. It got lost. And so for the audio viewers, I'm now holding up the I guess the Gen 1 Steam controller.
Wow.
So that I could play. Well, I wanted to see what it'd be like with the whole Steam Deck. Obviously, the Steam Deck's got 2 sticks, and I love the Steam Pad. I absolutely adore it. So I was like, well, look, come on, you know, if I'm going to play a consoleized Steam machine, I might as well use the Steam control pad.
Yeah,
And
can I just say the Steam controller was a nice controller. I like the Steam.
I love it. I still think, and it wears really well.
Well, it better do now because you can't get a new one.
Well, thankfully I've got spares.
Of course. Why am I not surprised that you've got spares?
Well, I've got a spare. But I did have a case for this, didn't I? And I've lost it. I was well pissed off. But I've got the extra back plate on it with the little kind of dongle lump in it, so you can put the USB dongle in the back of the control pad.
Yeah.
So I've actually got a dongle in the console, shall we say, in the Steam machine, and a dongle in the back of my pad. So I can just plug the dongle into one of my laptops if my laptop allows me to. Yeah, so I can kind of hop between the machines. But I really like the Steam machine, even though that analog kind of the right mouse pad bit can be a little bit fiddly to get used to in games. So obviously that's where you're supposed to like aim and stuff like that. Sometimes things don't quite translate over very well. But you can it's like so configurable. It's amazing. It's a really comfortable pad, and you know, connectivity's great on it. It's a really, really nice pad. And so I fire up SteamOS, and I just been dicking around in that, playing a few games. Now I did turn off Proton. I turned off Steam Play. It's on by default, even on Debian, on the version 2 of SteamOS. But I turned that off, and they have 2 separate lists for.
Just remind people what Proton is. That's
so, Proton is the Wine and DXVK DirectX to Vulkan wrapper, kind of interpretation layer that plays Windows games on Linux. It basically handles all of the system calls that a game would normally make, like, oh, hey, we're asking for this by going through DirectX, and then that gets translated to Vulkan instead, which Linux handles more comfortably because DirectX isn't a thing on Linux.
So you can play a game that's meant for Windows, never meant for Linux, but you can play it on Linux.
Yes. And in general, I mean, Valve have done such a good job on it now that they're like, well, soon we're not even going to bother asking for Linux binaries. We're just going to say, just run everything on Steam Play. They're really, really pumping time into Steam Play, and it's fucking fantastic. I would prefer native Linux, but
I'll say, sure, they can't be as good. I mean, I don't know if you're able to. It'd be nice, actually, if you could do a comparison where you could like, compare the Windows binary to the Linux binary.
It depends on the game.
I can't believe it.
Depends on the game, and depends on your hardware. And in some cases, Linux performs better.
But I'll say, because if you've got to have a translation layer,
yeah, and you're going to say that it's going to impact performance. I understand where you're going, and I'm saying that in some cases it's still better.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I find it a surprise they're going to drop it, because I would prefer native.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer native, because the problem with my little box is that in some cases it does take a little bit of extra legwork, and obviously my machine being quite gutless, it doesn't really have that much wiggle room. That, and because I have old processors, so I don't have all the newest instruction sets and all that kind of stuff anyway, so there are some things that just don't work on my processor. So whilst the clock speeds are there, if the instruction sets ain't, you ain't gonna be doing whatever it is you want to be doing. However, it should be said, if you're into classic Windows games, for example, like Max Payne and that, Max Payne requires a lot of patching to get it to run on Windows 10. On Proton, you just go, I want to install Max Payne. Downloads Max Payne, hit play, and the game works.
Yeah, I suppose it makes sense because it's just translated. It's translationless. It doesn't care about compatibility with Windows, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't give a damn about what version. So in Windows, you need a sound patch, a widescreen fix, sensitivity fixes. Proton just goes, yep, we're fine. It's done. One click, done. Game plays. So I think that's kind of neat. But
it brings life into old games. Because let's be honest, no one's Rockstar or whoever makes it's not Rockstar made Max Payne at the time.
it was Remedy. Remedy.
Remedy. That's who I meant. I knew Game of R. That's not getting patched.
No.
It's unlikely. There's
Rockstar do own it, by the way. They own it now.
That's why I got myself messed up. They did Max Payne 3, which apparently was awful. I've not played it.
I don't know.
I play it, so I can't comment on it.
Sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of old games that won't get the Windows patches. I mean, look at GOG. Even GOG games now, where they say don't supposedly test them, don't always work.
No, they don't, which is sad because GOG can be really quite messy at times.
So it's nice that Proton's almost giving a new lease of life to these older games.
Yeah. I mean, I really like it. And in some cases, I've said to people, I actually prefer playing some games on Linux through Proton than natively on Windows. It's a neat feature, and I'm really glad they're doing it because it's opening up Linux gaming. It's fantastic. And then with AMD's upscaling magic technology that they've got, even lower end GPUs are capable of playing higher end games. It's nice performance for kind of free, slightly softer image, but then I'm not gonna argue about those features. Me personally, I'd rather just turn the resolution down than have a bit of software do magic chicory pokery and then upscale it and sharpen it. But that's just me. But yeah, it's been fun. But I turned all that off just to run native games, and it should be noted that I found today I have 1,337 games on Steam. I'm elite PC gamer, so
You are.
So I think I should retire now.
Like I say, you can't buy another game anymore, can you?
I know. I almost bought like 2 more today. So
I'm gonna gift you something now.
don't. I need to do something first.
What
yeah.
shall I gift him?
Another copy of CyberPunk.
Yeah. No, I'm not made of money. Barbie's Horse Adventure. You can have that.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. But I've been dicking around with that stuff, purely Linux stuff. Out of the 1,337 games I've got, only 400 odd have native Linux clients. Proton has 2 lists now. So they've got like the confirmed it works list and the kind of relaxed compatibility list.
Well, this might be a bit dodgy.
Yeah, so you've got 2 filters now when using Proton in your SteamOS clienty thing. So you can go filters, played, unplayed, SteamOS, Steam Play verified, Steam Play relaxed, unplayed cheese, whatever. You can pick, and that'll kind of filter out your list, and you can pick what you want to install and stuff. But I turned those off. I just wanted to go native with this machine. Only 400 and some odd games out of my 1,000 odd that actually play. But I would like to say I think that Windows users that get a Steam Deck are probably going to cry like motherfuckers. Yeah. Because I like Loop Hero. We spoke about this a little bit before the podcast. I thought, what's a fast game that I can download? Because it's only small, like 90 megs or something. I'll download Loop Hero just to make sure I've got everything configured properly, so that make sure that my sound is working and all that kind of stuff. Loop Hero doesn't work. The native Linux client doesn't work. Because Loop Hero is missing a library. They haven't included it. It's been a problem since it came out, and they still haven't put it in yet.
Yeah, have they solved? Is their solution to it? Oh, just do apt-get this. And
Kind of. That's what everyone else has said. Like, here's the thing that it's looking for, that's missing. Just install it and move it.
Yeah,
Done.
It's the MechWarrior 5 solution of just edit the RNI file.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I was like,
just hack the game. It'll be fine. Just hack it. We'll make it work that way. It's fine. We won't patch it. We'll just tell you how to hack the game instead.
You do the work for us. If you really want to play it, if you're really a fan, you'll do it. But so you know, I was like, I didn't bother fixing it. I was like, you know what? Fuck yeah. If you're not willing to fix your own game, you know, if you're not willing to include all of the things that you need to get that fucking game to run, you're screwed up.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, once upon a time when we were younger, you had to download all the extra stuff to get your game to run.
Let's be honest. Every time you install a Steam game, it reinstalls the C++ one-time distribution library.
Yeah, like stuff like that. But here's the trick. That's all automatic on Windows, right?
Yeah.
They include that for every game. But on Linux, they don't. Some of the games just don't seem to include all of the bits because they assume that your distro is going to have it. But SteamOS doesn't.
You see, Linux. So what I say is Linux gaming / SteamOS gaming is like PC game was 15 years ago.
Yes. Some ways it's a lot better, and other ways you're pulling your fucking hair out.
Well, I think we've actually forgotten the last 10 years now. It's generally unusual to buy a new game and it not work. It's now, if you buy a new game, you download, install it, it'll run fine, no problems, no big issues, off you go.
Go back in time, 10 or 11 years, control pad support was bullshit as well.
Yeah, well, that's what 10 years, but 10 years ago, that wasn't a given. Even, I mean, Borderlands 1, I bought Borderlands 1, stored it, had problems. There were issues with graphics cards. You had to fiddle with your graphics card settings and drivers and stuff to get it to work properly.
Yep.
These all little things had to be done to make it work. Nowadays, PC gaming is like, because that used to be one of the big things that console games had over PC games was you bought a console game, it was going to work.
Yep.
You put it in, whereas PC gaming, there's probably going to be some fiddling. There's going to be some settings dropping. You're going to be doing some work with it. Nowadays, though, that's all gone. PC games are reliable now. You don't worry about it. And a bit which I think what you're coming on to, which we did discuss off air, was a lot. I think there's quite a few PC games out there who are now used to the new way of being. I mean, you're like me. You're well older. We grew up with having to fiddle with games to work.
Yeah.
On PCs. But if I was like, 15 years old now or 18 years old now, probably never had to do that.
No.
So
the idea of having to go somewhere else to get a runtime library or whatever some people, not all, but some people would shit the bed having to go to find libraries that they need.
Particularly as I'm assuming it's all done through presumably command prompt, terminal, I should say.
Well, if you go on, if we just I'm just thinking of Windows. In some cases, like if you had to go to another website to do it, some people would literally freak out that they have to find another executable to download and install, and then maybe their game run. Yeah, but then that's not a thing anymore, is it? Back when we were younger, you had to go out your way to install different codecs to get videos and audio files to work.
Yeah.
Now that's all included, built into media players, a lot of media players. But just imagine that there are so many people. There are still people who would be put off doing that. That's why people tend to buy Macs, because they've got no fucking idea what they're doing. They just want it to work. They're the kind of people who end up getting put in front of an actual PC and break everything. I'm just going to tidy up the Windows file.
Yeah. This Windows file is awfully big. Let me delete that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what's this for?
I think though in modern Windows you can't even do that anymore. I don't think it lets you.
No.
Modern Windows hides it. It's all hidden away from you. If you want to, there's almost a button in Windows now that says, "Yes, I'm going to fuck with my PC." Let
pretty
me fuck
much.
with the file structure. Let me do it. There's almost an option. There's almost a setting now you have to enable. Whereas old school Windows, yeah, you can go in the Windows System 32 folder. Yeah, go in there. Do the hell you like.
That's just like
Do what you
Linux.
feel
Linux is like, you want to delete all the boot partitions? Yeah, fucking go for it, mate. Just, don't worry about it. Just go. We'll rebuild them later if you want.
Is it sudo -rm-f or something? You can just run it to destroy everything.
Oh, he's trying. He's trying.
I don't really.
But sometimes it can be that easy. You do something really simple, and you're like, "Oh shit! I entered that in incorrectly. Oh fuck! What have I done?"
I remember being told. I remember about days of like, okay, I need to download a batch file to make it work, but you had to be careful to open the batch file first, to make sure you didn't have like delete regedit or something in it.
Good times back in the day. We were surrounded by trolls pretending to help us.
Yeah, you always had your Windows install disks to hand to do Windows.
But that's exactly it though, because like imagine, as I say, there are still some people who are actually genuinely scared of doing stuff on their computers. I still have friends that actually still believe what we were saying earlier. You must fiddle with things. You must buy a new graphics card every year. You must do this. You must do that. It's like, it's not that hard anymore.
No. To be fair, though, I do think there's a certain group of particularly PC gamers that make it seem like that to try and make it seem somehow we're better because we have to fuck with everything to make it work. No. If you said... It's like people who are, I like Land Rovers, so I call it comments. People who are proud of vehicles that break down all the time that they own. Well, I've got such a vehicle. Yes, I have to repair it every other weekend to make it work, but I'm really proud that I've got this vehicle.
Oh, bless.
I said as a Land Rover, as a person who used to own Land Rovers.
I get the, but I own a Kawasaki, an old Kawasaki, not as bad as an old Suzuki, but I've got old Kawasaki's that, I swear, if they used, it was the Suzuki's. There was a specific Suzuki I used to like back in the day. If it got wet, the electrics was shit, so that didn't run. But the thing is, but they're basically trying to make out that the thing that they do makes them superior because they've got some kind of technical skill, which they don't most of the time. But there are still so many people out there who are actively scared of doing things on computers. And the trouble is, Steam Deck kind of is going to maybe possibly require you to have a bit more tech smarts than not. Because it isn't Windows. You can't just go, why doesn't this work? And then follow a Windows instructional for it. Yeah.
Linux is still very old school that you do have to fiddle.
And the fact that it's a cut down version of Linux too. So you might not even have all of the tools available that they say you'd have, like, oh mate, I've just found a tutorial on how to fix this on Ubuntu or how to fix this on Arch, Manjaro or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but it literally has none of that, so you'd then have to go out of your way to add repositories and then download the stuff that you need and then run all the commands. It's like, are you comfortable doing that too? Probably not.
Which is actually one of the downsides of Linux is that there's so many different versions of it.
Well, most of them are near enough the same.
Yeah.
Like if you looked at my Manjaro install versus say Ubuntu, for the most part they're pretty similar.
It's always the little things that catch you out.
It's true, but my point being that it's not that there are so many different versions. Oh my god, how can we figure this out? Because it's really not that bad.
No.
It's not, because that'd be the same as, like, say you having a certain runtime installed on your Windows machine that I don't. And then people go, well, why is this blue screen? It's like, well, have you got this installed? Have you got that? Because there are still so many options that you can have to cause your machine to shite the bed. But it's the idea that the Linux installs that come as part of SteamOS, there is literally nothing on it that you don't need to run a copy of Steam.
Yeah.
So, don't expect it to come with a copy of GIMP installed. You've got, like, a file manager, terminal, the drivers for your graphics card, and sound. That's fucking it. Nothing else. No, like, extra web browsers on there, none of this stuff. No fat repositories loaded with software that you can download bits from. It's literally, you've got all you need to run Steam. So everything else
was the intention. It was just to be this is just a game
exactly. But again, this is what I'm saying. It's not that there are so many different versions of Linux. It's that this is a very tailored version of Linux. So if you were to then look up a tutorial for Linux to fix a problem, you'll find that it probably won't work because half of the stuff isn't available on SteamOS because of how it's been kind of cut to only work for Steam, to only have the libraries required by Steam, to only have the stuff required via sound card, to only have the stuff required via graphics card, to not have a repository that's got GIMP and Kden Live and OBS and Chrome and all that kind of stuff because you don't need it. So
Linux can sometimes turn to a, for want of a nail, situation where, okay, I need to do this, I need to source. Right, well, I ain't got this, so how do I get this? Okay, I need to do this setup to get this. Well, I'm missing this one bit here. Okay, I need to do those setups to get that one bit there. It can, and gradually you end up working your way back down a chain until eventually you can cascade back to where you want to be. That does happen. Okay, Linux is nowhere near like it was 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, no, God, no.
No, it is. Linux is actually, for want of a better word, user-friendly now.
Oh, it is.
So, it is. I mean, the first time I dabbled Linux, there were, back in the day when I first started, there were no graphics card drivers for my graphics card. They didn't exist.
I had the same issue. I had an issue with a modem. I couldn't get drivers for my modem or my network card. And if I couldn't get the files for those, well, obviously I couldn't connect to the internet to download them anyway.
Yeah.
So
that's when I was dabbling with Red Hat.
Same.
Yeah.
Oh, what a bad choice on our part.
Yeah. And it's like the best I could get on my graphics card was 256 graphics. It's the best I could have. That's the only driver someone had. Because back those days, people had to write the drivers, not the companies.
Yep.
Often you'd have some person who'd write the drivers.
Yep.
Or you might be lucky and perhaps some person who works at the company who felt sorry for you and in their spare time made a Linux driver for you.
Yep.
But if they didn't, and often there'd be hardware specific, like, okay, this will run on this specific GeForce card because we ain't code to be with it. It's like, so that, I mean, Linux is
we are. Let's be fair. We are probably talking about what 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was early 2000s. I last dabbled with Linux.
Long time ago. I mean, for me, it was the late 90s, early 2000s when I started, and it was fucking terrible. Absolutely terrible. And even worse if you were on a laptop. If you're on a laptop, just throw it in the bin.
I would say, and you can disagree with this, I think effectively Linux is, in terms of usability, reliability, I'll tell you about, I won't say reliability. In terms of usability and how much you have to faff around a bit, it's probably about 10 to 15 years behind PCs at the moment.
No. I'd say you're talking Windows 7 now.
Okay, fair enough.
As far as Linux, I mean, honestly, mate, my family, my parents use Linux. They wouldn't even know they weren't on Windows. They wouldn't know. My mum has actually started programming on Linux. She's done several courses online through Linux. She does all of her accounts on Linux. General computing, she does it all on Linux.
I want to say, you say it's like Windows 7. Windows 7 was released 2009, so about 10 years ago.
Oh, fair that.
Well,
I mean, like, end of life. Windows 7. Because even when Windows 7 came out, that was a bit wobbly. Towards the end, I mean, well, think about early Windows 10. You just literally, or Windows 8, you plug shit in and it goes, there it is, and I'll pull that down and it works. That's pretty much where Linux is now. Yeah. If you've got stuff that's kind of supposed, like you ain't gonna get, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a really specific piece of hardware now, but like, you're not going to get Elgato PCIe cards to work in Linux, but there are many other things that you can buy that will just plug in and Linux will go, there it is, and work fine. Yeah. You know, web cameras, microphones, FireWire drivers are still supported. Fucking, it's all just there. You plug it in and it goes, oh hey, you're now downloading a video editing program, but you might be doing some video editing or cassette capture, tape capture. You might be doing some DVD authoring. Would you like me to add this stuff in too?
Yeah.
Same as like when you said about winding backwards to solve a problem. These days, Linux tends to go, well, it needs that. To do this, you're going to need that. And you haven't got that. So I'll get that for you. You don't worry about that. It just pulls all of the dependencies that you need.
I forgot what I was going to say now. I forgot what I was going to say. So it's gone.
It's when you were saying about Linux being XYZ number of years behind Windows. I mean, realistically, when you say that, the way that you're kind of talking about it makes it sound more like Windows XP, Windows ME.
It's not that bad. No, it's not that bad.
Where you have to jump through a load of hoops to get shit to work. That's nowhere near the case with Linux these days. Do you want to know what the worst thing with Linux is? Like, honestly, it's theming. The theming of your desktop environment. So, like, right now, I've got on my Windows rig, I've got a nice dark theme going on. You know, my OBS has got a nice dark theme. It's just as it is. But on my Linux rig, on one of my Linux rigs, you fucking, I swear, if you've got OBS in the dark mode and then you go into the settings for your camera or whatever, the whole thing just breaks. Like, the UI just falls apart. Like, you click and you're like, the menu just kind of blends into itself. So then you scroll down and you kind of get a ghost of where the other menus used to be, so you can't click anything anymore. But then you put it into light mode, bam, it's back to normal. It's fine. You can just use it as normal. But as soon as you put it back into dark mode because there's an issue with the theming on it, it fucking dies. Kden Live, same problem. It's not the case. Like, some distros really have that nailed down, but then other stuff just fucking breaks. Audacity is fucking horrible on Linux. It really fucking is. You almost need to have a computer science degree, and I'm exaggerating a bit here, but you almost need to have a computer science degree to be able to use Audacity on fucking Linux. It is a mess. It is terrible. All because of theming. Not because of the software itself. It just doesn't... Sometimes things just break. And it's fucking dumb. But as far as usability is concerned, do you know what I think actually has helped a lot for usability in Linux?
Go on.
Raspberry Pi.
Yes, a very good point. Yep.
Because things have started to become a lot more user-friendly since the Pi came out. A lot more things started to be supported by Linux since the Pi came out. I mean, there are some things that you can do on Linux that you can't, or you couldn't do at the time on PC. Like, Linux had kernel support for the PlayStation 5 controller before you had support on Windows. And it was built into the kernel.
That's pretty impressive, actually, to be fair. PlayStation 5 support.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm impressed.
There's loads of little bits like that. Linux can be more wobbly, but is usually a bit more ahead of...
Yeah, I mean, it helps that there's a lot of... Because anyone can fuck around with it, basically.
Yeah.
Help in that regard. Mm-hmm. It's not a walled garden.
No. I mean, well, think of it this way. A lot of the great tools that people use every day on Windows are open source. So they came from Linux users.
Yes.
OBS. It's an open source project available on Windows, Mac, and Linux. Runs exactly the same on Windows, Mac, and Linux. Firefox, available Windows, Mac, and Linux. Audacity, available Windows, Mac, and Linux. Some of the video editors available on Windows, Mac, and Linux. You can do... It's not like back in the day where you really had to jump through hoops to be able to get jobs done.
No.
Now the stuff is there. You can quite comfortably do your dailies on Linux.
Yeah.
For free. You don't even have to buy software. It's all in the user repositories.
No, Linux is definitely it's come on leaps and bounds over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
It's no longer for a long time actually. I think a bit like we were saying earlier about PC gamers being a bit like snobby. Oh, I have to fiddle my games getting working.
Mhm.
I think there was for a long time in the Linux community you have to be people who are going to be using Linux are like programmers and
Yeah.
people who like sort of like and hackers and crackers and those people who are using Linux. No normal people would possibly even consider using our lovely Linux system.
Yeah.
And it was almost a point of pride
Yes.
in a weird way.
And it still is.
I mean, I bet there are people out there who look down upon things like Ubuntu.
Yes.
Which is like Linux for the everyman.
Yep.
There
still are.
Of course, there because in my day I had to hand code my mouse input drivers, and now
Funny enough, someone said to me today, or that was probably either today or yesterday. They didn't mean it in a nasty way, but they said, "Do you remember back in the day when you actually had to recompile the kernel to sort out your graphics drivers?"
Yeah, and now it's like no, it just works.
Yeah, now you just click and it's done.
Yeah.
So a lot simpler.
There was a snobbery attached with Linux for a long time.
Well, there still is, and I'll tell you the ones that annoy me the most. The ones that will outright say every operating system is shit. Not to say their operating system is shit too. Like I will concede that Windows is an amazing piece of fucking software, given all the different combos of hardware it has to work on. Yeah, Mac is very nice because it's stable. Because they only have a certain number of SKUs they have to work on.
Yeah.
And Linux is a technical fucking masterpiece because Jesus fucking Christ is coded by everyone.
Yeah.
But
they're excellent examples. Actually, you're right. They're excellent examples of free thought processes. There's collaborative.
Mm-hmm.
There is every jack of all trades, and they're a specialist.
Yeah.
They are the free thought process, and they're excellent examples. And the fact they all work, and I know we mock Windows a lot, but they actually all work well.
Yeah, they do. Amazingly.
Windows is the CyberPunk of operating systems, but it's only because everybody has it.
Yeah.
And we tend to mock it. But actually, fact, Windows as a day-to-day thing generally doesn't miss a beat.
It's pretty solid. I mean, you still have the occasional hiccups, but you'll have those on Mac and Linux as well.
Exactly, but people tend to go up in arms when it's on. If it's on Windows, people will happily, mercilessly mock it. But anything else, it's Linux. Just a new distro.
But then you even have that in subsets, don't you? Oh, mate, you're a fucking AMD user, or you're an Nvidia user. Yeah. Oh, you Intel fucking integrated GPU using peasant. Yeah. It's like, whoa, you guys need to learn to chill the fuck out.
Yeah, yeah. So it is ridiculous when I get the way it's gone in many ways. And there was a certain, I do remember, you probably remember these people, the smug Linux user.
Yeah, I still hang out with some of them.
Yeah, I not the college we went to, another college I went to, there was a guy there who used Linux, and he was so smug about the fact he used, I don't possibly use Windows, I use Linux, and he's so smug about it. It's like, mate, and he wasn't even using like a really bizarre, weird distro. He was using something like
Mint.
it was Red Hat. There, it was something fair. It was like one of the more common distros and the more user friendly distro. But because he switched from Windows to Linux,
yeah,
he's so smug.
And it should be said, it's actually a lot easier to switch from Windows to Linux these days because of the sheer amount of open source software that a lot of people on Windows use already.
Well, my laptop is Linux, my computer is Windows, and I switch between them.
Yeah. Windows, Linux is there, Linux here. I've got a Mac somewhere, but that's the trick because we've got so many software suites that are across platform. You can go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's fucking fantastic. If I want, to travel through a war zone, I'll take my Linux machine. Right? Because I could fucking club someone to death with it and it'll still be reasonably okay.
It's the Skazz gets there and he finds his rifle and bits. He has to do. He has to do an app getting his rifle together.
No, I have to compile it. I have to compile
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Compile his rifle.
Fucking.
This version of the bullet is not compatible with this version. You need to download the latest.
Yeah, you need to pull down these libraries to get that to work. So motherfucker.
Yeah, they're only in beta at the moment.
Beta, you're probably talking pre-alpha. Pre-alpha. We've only just come out with them. You're on the bleeding edge, mate. You must be running Arch or Gen 2 at this point. I'm like, no. You got to spin around 3 times and spit. But like, I mean, I like all of them. As I say, I tend to swing. I like Linux more, but then there are some times I'm like, mate, why the fuck do I put up with this? And I just hop over onto my Windows machine and I do something, and then something happens on Windows. I'm like, why the fuck do I put up with this? And I go over to my other machine on the other side. They're all good. It just depends what you want to use it for. I mean, if you're fucking broke, Linux. If you've got old hardware, Linux. If you want to learn, Linux. If you want easy in gaming, out the box, Windows. I mean, I'm not even looking at it from a freedom respecting sarcastic air quotes kind of thing here, because doesn't fucking matter at the end of the day. It only takes one thing. I know I'm all for my privacy and my freedoms of using my computer, but it only takes one thing to piss in the pool and ruin it. You know? So that's not really that important. I can't tout freedoms, a freedom-loving operating system, whilst walking around with an Android phone or an iPhone.
No, exactly.
It's absolute horseshit. So we'll just take your ideologies, take them off the table. Let's just talk tech.
I love it. People get so worried about Google Home and Alexa spying on them, yet they walk around with an iPhone or Android in their pocket all day long.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't like them. I turn off most of those smart devices, but I'll tell you why. I don't like when they fucking chime in with things. I'm not addressing you. My wife has got something on her iPad, and I was talking to her the other day, didn't say anything like the trigger word, and all of a sudden it chimed in. I was like, will you fuck off? It's like, please, shut up. It's not a case of privacy. I just don't want it there. But I have a house full of Google Home speakers because they offer a fantastic function that I really like. I built my own home audio setup at one point, and for near enough the same price, I could just buy one off the shelf that was a lot more user friendly. I could use the one that I built, but my guests found it quite difficult. Whereas the one that I got from, the Google one, everyone was, oh mate, I know how to do that. I know how to press the share button and open up Spotify, and it was because it's made for numbnuts. So it was magical. But so I need to go back on what we were saying about the Steam Deck. I think that there's going to be a lot of Windows users, though, that are going to be scared if they have to get their feet wet. If they have to get their feet wet. I'm hoping between now and version 3 of SteamOS, old Gaben goes, we'll stamp out those bugs. As you say, they'll go through the software and say, that works. Ah, that doesn't work. What's going on?
Just don't show it to them. That's what they say. We'll show you all your compatible games only.
Yeah.
You can don't show them if you really want to, but we'll keep that option a little bit hidden away from you, so you can't accidentally do it.
Well, I think, I said earlier, they've got the Steam Play and the verified Steam Play games. Like, if it's enabled and that's the list it shows you, the verified stuff,
that's fine.
Great. But it just concerned me a little bit that like a Linux version wasn't running because a library was missing. It's like, what the fuck are you playing at? Average Joe on a Steam Deck ain't gonna know what the fuck to do with that.
I think it's more like it won't be like being scared to fiddle with it. It'd be more a case of, well, it doesn't fucking work.
Yeah, and that's what worries me.
Oh, I download something to make it work. It's, well, it doesn't fucking work.
Yeah, what a piece of shit.
That's as far as the thought process will go. It doesn't fucking work.
It doesn't fucking work. Linux is shit, or Steam Deck is shit. And it's like, no, it isn't. It's just a dodgy executable. We have them on Windows. You download something that doesn't download properly, and all of a sudden it doesn't work. Or they expect you to have a certain runtime. Like OBS requires a certain runtime. If you haven't got that library, it will ask you to download it. Well, Steam Deck probably ain't going to do that because it's been kind of cleaned up to work. You know what I mean? It's been cleaned up to hide all of that away from you. Chances are, actually, you know what? I said how Loop Hero was missing the library. It probably won't fucking matter because it'll run the Windows version through Steam Play.
Probably.
So, but yeah, I want that thing to succeed. You know, I really do. I think it's going to be really nice for just imagine all these people having Linux gaming machines, you know?
Yeah.
Or, as you say, people will try it. It won't be very good, and they'll say Linux is shit without actually factoring in all the other...
I doubt they'll say Linux is shit because I think the sort of person who buys the Steam Deck won't necessarily... The sort of person who buy it... If you're not tech savvy enough to know to update your games, download distros and so forth, you probably won't even see it as Linux. You'll probably see it as a best SteamOS.
Well, you say that because you remember when the Steam Machine came out?
Yes, the overpriced machines. Yes.
Yeah, the OEM laptops in PC cases. They were, weren't they? They were mostly like laptop GPUs with a.
They were completely overpriced for what they were. They completely missed the whole point of what they were trying to do.
And I built mine here for like 250 quid, and they were selling them for like £800 or whatever. Yeah. And this thing's more powerful.
There was a market there for someone to make one for like £200-300, slightly cheaper than a console. Someone could have made that, and they would probably done all right.
Yeah.
But they decided to instead price it at £1,200-1,500, targeting the pro PC game market. Well, do you know what? If you're really into PC gaming, you've probably got a gaming PC. So why the fuck would you buy a Steam machine?
But that's the thing, because you say how people are like, oh, they won't even notice it's Linux, or they won't even notice it's SteamOS. You wouldn't believe the number of people on YouTube, or who made videos on YouTube where they'd bought a Steam machine, did a review of a Steam machine, but they put Windows on it first.
That's what ruins the point, really, isn't it?
And that's what I said. I was like, how can you still call it a Steam machine? I'm like, oh, well, the Steam machines are shit because look at the performance and all blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's not even a Steam machine anymore. You put Windows on it.
PC. It's a PC now.
Exactly. It's a low-power PC, an overpriced low-power PC. So stop calling it a Steam. It's got the Steam logo on it, maybe. I think some of them had the Steam logo on them somewhere. There's like, it's not a Steam machine anymore because you've took off SteamOS. Mine is a Steam machine. It's got Dell on the front of it, but it's a fucking Steam machine because it's got SteamOS on it and it works quite nicely. But because there's already talk of people installing Windows on the Steam Deck.
Oh, people will.
But why?
What's the point?
Yeah. Why buy like a 300 to £500 device and then fucking install Windows on it?
350 to 550, yeah.
Just don't. Please, people, please just try and use it as it comes because they're really working on this. They're developing this really cool piece of software and it's you're basically spitting in their faces if you put Windows on it.
Yeah.
You know, fuck your hard work. I just want it to play whatever this random thing is.
Yeah.
You know?
I bought a Mac. I installed Windows on it somehow.
No.
I installed Windows on it, and somehow it's shit. What do you expect?
It's like the people who went and bought the new M1 like MacBook things, and they went and put Linux on it like straight away. It's like, no. Great that you've done it. Great. Just no. Just don't.
Yeah.
Just run it as it was supposed to. It's optimized. It's ready to go. Yeah, I do worry that, as you say, some people are going to pick it up. They're going to try and launch something that's not going to work, and they're going to say shit. I hope they have those filters in place. That they really go through like the top, 500 or 600 most popular games on Steam. And say, yep, that works. And then come up with optimized profiles that run when you launch it. Because on my Steam machine, running version 2 of SteamOS, it's not great sometimes. Performance ain't fantastic. And I think it could really do with a bit more tweaking. Although, in fairness, I don't really know how well optimized the Linux native games actually were. So, in fairness, running some of these things through Proton might actually be beneficial.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I've been playing with SteamOS and it's fucking fun.
Good.
Native Linux.
Well,
Why haven't you done that with one of your old rigs, by the way, Ram? You said you would, because you got a Steam control in that.
well, my old rig got turned to a file server, which is currently sat in the corner of this office whirring away as a file server. And then my other old rig is somewhere buried up in the loft.
Oh, right. Because I was going to say, why didn't you build a Steam machine for your family and go try that?
Well, we had a Steam Link, and we used to use Steam Link.
And how did they find it?
Well, the stuff we played on it actually was quite. The trouble was, obviously Steam Link streams it, so I can't use the PC whilst Steam Link. We played a few games through it. I sort of used this opportunity to say, look, let me show you some games that you can play that we probably haven't played before, types of games you probably wouldn't have played before, that you won't get on console. So we played like Avery Attorney, because that works quite well with controller, and that's also a game you would. As far as I never came to consoles. That's sort of game that you probably is an unusual game. They like that. They enjoy playing that. We played a few sort of games like that. We did a few bits and pieces for it, but obviously that basically took the PC out of commission.
Yeah.
While it's working, so I couldn't do anything really on it. And obviously, I spent a lot of time on the PC, so that's sort of like we didn't use it very much, to be honest, unless I was actually there. So, but yeah, no, actually, sort of. I suppose I could, but I could turn my old rigs into Steam machine, although they're all quite big. So,
I'd be interested to see how you find SteamOS. I mean, you are a technical PC user, but you're not a Linux user. I'd be interested to get your.
No, I use Linux, but not to the same extent that you use Linux. The stuff that I tend to do on Linux tends to be. I tend to do a lot of, shall I say, officey stuff on Linux because I've got a laptop now.
Yeah.
So I tend to do a lot of like writing and stuff on it when I'm doing my D&D. I write a lot on Linux because I sit in the garden with it and use it. If I'm doing any sort of like, I do like one thing I can't do a PC is I can't sit up at a table with loads of paperwork somewhere, loads of sort of scribbling things down with a computer. You can't do it with a PC because the way it's done, I can't. But a laptop, I can throw onto the table. I can have forms, paperwork filled with like sort of plans and flow charts and sort of working it with the computer together, which works with a laptop. I can't do that with my PC.
Yeah.
So that's what it tends to get used for. It tends to get used for basically like an office machine.
Yeah, I get you.
So we have a lot of cores to do it. I suppose what I could do is I could try dual booting SteamOS onto it and using that as a.
You could do, but I don't think you'd really have the GPU horsepower on your machine to really.
No, nothing fancy, no, nothing fancy.
I mean, you could still try some indie titles on it and see how it goes.
Yeah. I won't be playing CyberPunk on there.
Oh, mate.
Although if I did have SteamOS, I could stream through it, couldn't I?
Yeah.
So I could leave my PC running and could sit in my bedroom, in my bed playing CyberPunk that way.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
That'd be absolutely fantastic. Could you imagine that? Just get your Steam Link, just hook it up in your bedroom and just, oh, mate, I'm playing CyberPunk.
I need a TV in there for that.
Oh, mate.
I filmed this before. I basically ban most electronics from the bedroom.
Yeah.
Distractions. But laptop you could put away. So.
Oh, mate, I think. Because I always say this, like I'm never going to buy any more new hardware, but I think when I'm going to kind of disappear, I think I'd like to buy a top of the line Linux laptop. Like gaming laptop equivalent, but designed with Linux in mind. And what I mean by that is like, because I've got a pretty powerful gaming laptop here, but there's a lot of stuff that maybe won't work because it isn't tailored for Linux. Like there's, so this is an Asus ROG Zephyrus G14. And it's like, well, what about the backlights on the keyboards? There's fan profiles and all that are specific. They have like proprietary software installed on it to get
Yeah,
all of this stuff to run how it's supposed to run.
yeah.
Sometimes installing
Yeah,
Linux on this kind of thing doesn't go well. It didn't on my old gaming laptop. So I'm thinking
yeah,
maybe if I can find something with a little bit more kind of openness in mind, jump into that and then
yeah.
never buy any new hardware again.
The issue I've got with Linux on my laptop is sound is very. It's for some reason it's really quiet.
Hmm.
Even at max volume, I don't know if it's Ubuntu and SoundWise in general, if it's Dell specifically drivers that hasn't or Dell hardware doesn't like, but it's so quiet even at max volume.
How is it on Windows?
It's
Louder?
fine on Windows. I'm fine, absolutely fine when it because it's not got Windows on it anymore. It's this Linux only.
I will
When
look into something for that for
when
you.
it was Windows, it was fine. Let me put it this way: if I'm watching something on it and it's got any sort of background noise, like when I was camping a few weeks ago, I had my laptop with me. I was running it. I was watching Netflix through it. I had to have subtitles on because I couldn't actually. I would not be able to hear the dialogue otherwise.
I'll have a look at it for you if you want.
Yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
got a few ideas, but I'll have a look at it.
I did. I think it's a known issue with Ubuntu and Dell.
Oh, okay.
So I did look. I did because I remember looking. I think this is really quiet. I remember looking up. It's a known issue. It was a known issue with Ubuntu and Dell. I don't have to use again. I don't have to use sound very often, so I've not really done a lot because I've not really had. To, I don't.
Sure.
I think that's probably the last one. I think when I actually went to start using it, I had actually sound muted,
Oh, yeah.
and I forgot to do it. I forgot I'd done it. So that's just how long previously I had lasted to use sound, and I forgot I muted it.
Fantastic. I mean, in fact, my house is almost like one of them hack. You know, everyone says how my house is like a hacker movie.
It is, yeah.
I had 4 PCs on the floor earlier on today,
That sounds about right for you.
like running. Like they're all hooked up to different monitors. And where is
Let's
that?
be honest. Let's be honest. Secretly, we all like a hacker den style room with like 20 monitors hung up everywhere, all displaying random shit, loads of PCs, loads of empty pizza boxes.
Mate, I've got a
That
Pi just for fucking IRC. It just sits there
yeah,
connected up to a little 15-inch screen just for my IRC. A keyboard, a mouse, the machine, and a screen just for IRC. And I'm like, oh, hey, what's they said?
I was watching a video the other day by this guy who does he works with some departments in America that does all spy satellites.
Yeah.
And he was looking at films and trying to explain what satellites can give you, like show what they can and can't show. Strange enough, most films very exaggerate how good satellites are.
Oh, God, yeah.
You would be surprised. Strange
Low
enough, they
bandwidth
do.
as fuck.
Yeah. Based on about what they can and can't do and so forth. And he's just at one point he talked about the control rooms and how they're laid out. He said, real life, they are laid out like this way, but from what we can tell, the only reason they lay them out this way is that people still seen them how they were in films and copied them. So the way spy sort of like control centers are laid out is mostly copied off films.
That's
Apparently.
terrifying. Rather than it being the other way around, we're like, yeah, let's just go with that.
Yeah, he said they all look the same and they are generally copied. We think they're copied basically. It's like, well, we don't know how to lay the room out. Well, they did it in the film. They did it this way. Shall we do? Yeah, why not?
That seems you can get a film crew around it, so surely we can get some office workers around it.
Yeah, yeah, we can get. We are spies out. It's all rather largish people, so we can probably get our way around it. So, yeah.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so,
Yeah, what have you been up to, Ram?
well, it's funny we're talking about operating systems.
Oh, God.
No, this one. I'm playing a game, and I'll have to look it up because I keep forgetting the bloody name of it because it's such a weird name. Oh yeah, Hyperspace Outlaw. I've been playing,
Hyperspace Outlaw.
and it's the best touchstone I can give you for Hyperspace Outlaw is Orwell.
I love Orwell. Everyone knows I love
Alright,
Orwell.
yeah, it's yeah. Orwell's a great game. Really good game where you are like a spy on like Facebook, but you're a government contracted spy. So Hyperspace Outlaw is set in the futuristic year of 1999.
Come, mate. Never going to happen. We'll never get that far.
Yeah. It's actually an alternate history
Oh,
sort of sci-fi.
those go a bit.
Yeah, so it's set in the year 1999, well, actually 1998 to be exact. This company called Macinsoft developed this headband that you can wear while you're sleeping,
Yeah.
and basically it allows you to surf the internet while you're asleep, and they call it hyperspace.
I need to do that.
So so people can put it on. And basically, the idea is when you go to sleep, you can carry on surfing the internet, and you basically browse the internet. And to make now, obviously, in the early late, as you remember, from the late 90s, early 2000s, the internet was a wild and wild westian place. There wasn't really any. There was a lot of like the DMRC wasn't there. There's a lot all the sort of like laws of just didn't exist. So it was anything went really, and there's a real lack of moderation and so forth. Companies haven't really started clamping down so much on copyright back then because it's quite a new thing still. So you are what they call an enforcer, and you have a special version of the hyperspace headset, with a special version operating system on it. So it's a walled garden system.
Okay.
So it's got its own little internet. If you're on hyperspace, the servers are run by hyperspace, and it's all accessed through hyperspace. A bit like AOL. AOL had for a while was like a little walled garden internet.
Yes.
They sort of separate everything. It's sort of that. But obviously, people will do stuff that's illegal on there. They might put threatening language, harassment. They might put copyright material up on there. So they hire these people called enforcers, and enforcers basically have admin privileges, not full admin privileges. They've got higher moderator privileges, by a better way to say it. And you play an enforcer, and your job is basically to look through this internet and look for violating materials, and if you find them, report them, delete them, report users, and so forth. And it's designed to be very much like a late 90s operating system. Very much think like Windows 98.
Yeah.
And they've really
Or Red Hat.
Red Hat, yeah. They've really nailed the style of how people used to do computers back then and what people thought the future was going to be like. So you load it up. The first it loads up is the tutorial program. So it loads up like a desktop. You have like desktops, you've got your cycle bin, you've got your file manager, your download manager, your browser. All on a desktop where you can click and drag. You've got a little taskbar at the top where you get your time and date, just like you'd expect from a Windows and from an operating system. The first thing that loads up is the tutorial program, and it looks like it's this really cheesy sort of pixelated 2D render, but 3D, trying to sort of very low res 3D render of like an office. And it's like there's a big arrow that says start point in one direction or exit point in another direction. If you click on start, it like changes to like a video shot of you walking through the office to a door, which then opens out until you go into the sort of other room. Like Microsoft Bob did. Very much like that sort of style. I was like, oh, this was most. I remember programs like this, thinking it's really cool that you had to sort of have this. Let's have this sort of pretend 3D world as you walk through to see and access stuff. And then the tutorial plays. It's that, and the audio is that little bit sort of like buzzy audio because it wasn't very high bit rate. And they say, "Welcome, thank you." And it's like this really low polygon character, like it's been made by some cheap 3D company. Obviously, they have a lot of polygons to play with, so it's like this really stylish.
Kids, just know that the things that Ram is actually explaining were once the future, and it wasn't that long ago.
Honestly, this felt so much like the late. This felt so. God, this brings up so many memories. How it felt to be like it was like being back, like being a student again.
Fuck, we're old.
Yeah, it was. Like, it was. It was like going back in those old days. Like, wow, this is really, really weird. So you get basically how it works is you are given a series of missions. So it's like, okay, well, we've been told that a copyright of this company has said they've discovered some violating materials based on their character from an old cartoon they made. You need to look in this, and basically what they do is they split up like the websites to split into like sort of like subsections. So like you have like the hyperspace like area, which is like all the welcome page or their corporate page or their staff pages. There's one they've got like one which is all like sort of like a bit of best way. So do you remember the old what were they called? Portal type page used to go on before Google was a thing. So before Google was a thing, for those there were like websites that basically were just list of other websites.
It's a directory.
Yeah, that's them. Yeah, and you go on there and basically, but someone be like, okay, if you're interested in Star Trek fan fiction, here's a list of all the sites with Star Trek fan fiction on them. You can go on. If you're interested in fishing, here's a list of all the sites with fishing on them.
Look up old Yahoo.
Yeah, this is how basically before search engines were a thing. This is how you got around. Or word of mouth.
Yeah.
And so it's basically these worlds are like that. So like there's a world of spirituality.
Just what's right there. We've blown people's minds right there. What do you mean a time before Google? How did you Google things before Google? You didn't. You asked Jeeves.
Remember, as someone once pointed out, Stack Overflow was built before Stack Overflow. So, so you have all these sort of stuff. So you have to basically. So the early missions are just basically just trawling through page after page, looking for like sort of dodgy stuff and so forth. And if you find it, you have to basically you get like you have like this little menu comes up where you've got like the different violations. So there's copyright infringement, there is threatening, there is illegal materials, there is like what they call extra currency, which is basically when you're on hyperspace, you have to use hyperspace dollars or hyperspace currency to pay for everything, but it's only redeemable in hyperspace. So if you're basically and you're not allowed to use other forms of currency. So if you're basically stuck in the ecosystem. If you want to sell services for hyperspace, you're going to use trade hyperspace money.
Oh.
So you're stuck with it. Imagine if, like, you're on Xbox, you could only pay things with Xbox points, and you could there's no way to buy to change it. Well, I know it's not, but imagine if you were selling services for Xbox, you could get Xbox points for them.
Sure.
But yeah, that's sort of how it sort of works. And so if you find incorrect currency, you can report that as well. So you get mission briefs, and they'll be like, okay, we need to find these characters, or we've had reports of harassing behavior, and it gets gradually more complicated. So like you'll find like the harassing behavior, the guy's he's on another site, he's not linked the site direct. So all the web pages you go on are designed for they make me think of GeoCities. In terms of, they are very simple, like HTML style sites.
HTML, bit of CSS, job done.
Yeah, there's no CSS. No, there's no CSS. At least not equivalent in this. They are what's quite interesting is there's like a default template. So the idea is when you sign up for Hyperspace, you can create a page. But it's like a bit like MySpace. You know, MySpace, you could really fiddle with it and change things on it. A bit like that, you can actually change default pages. So you'll go like on this one guy's website, and it'll have things like, and he'll written stuff. And you'll see at the top says, "Here's a text box. Fill your text in here." Still being displayed and stuff, and like put your links here. It's all that sort of stuff. Or like somehow like he's got another page. He's like copy and paste the whole thing. So it's like doubled up. I was like, oh, I remember these days. It's like going back in time to GeoCities. It's really weird.
Do you remember when once upon a time everyone thought that was how the internet was going to go, though? Like, we all thought that we'd have our own little slice of the internet, and now we just go to, like, Facebook.
Yeah, then YouTube and Facebook and blogs happened.
Yeah.
Or blogs pretty much did. But it is weird, actually, because it made me think back to a simpler time of the internet before you had all this interconnectivity where people could just put up a website for a few kilobytes and just basically say and it's got all the old website tropes, you know, how like random music playing when you load a website up that someone likes, and a lot of it's MIDI style music.
Yeah, I remember.
There'll be random gifs like audio.
We're old.
Yeah, random gifs, or like someone like put or like, you know how you get like American sites used to have like a picture of like just a random waving flag.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like this has nothing to do with the site you've got on here. What's it doing? What's this random image just doing here? It's very much like that. And as each mission gets more, so you do also like this harassing one. So you learn through reading his site that he's got like a hidden page. He's not linked to.
Oh, the dark web.
Yeah. Well, it is. He's sort of So basically, you're able to find it through another couple of sort of sources. You're able to
just what I throw out there. That's what the dark web is, people. It's just unindexed pages.
Yeah. Yes. Although a lot of them require accessing through the Tor browser as well for those pages, so that's sort of some degree of control over it.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying
That's
that,
that. Yeah,
there for people that think that it's super hardcore nefarious hacker shit. It's just a page that hasn't been indexed.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. So you have to sort of like, and later on time you'll sort of coming across hack. There's some early hackers on there who like fills people's sites and still harmless stuff. They'll put like shock images up and fairly harmless stuff.
Yeah.
But it's all right. But it's like sort of because the security isn't that great and so forth. And you have the option of like flag and you like, and because everybody has a rating, all users have a rating,
Mm-hmm.
and you can like, so as you report stuff, you can basically, if their rating goes down, you can then flag them. They can get investigated. They might get banned, and like their pages took offline. And it's got and it's basically split into four parts. So the first three parts set sort of late November all the way through to December of 1999, and you are looking at all these pages and sort of checking out and for various reasons. Like the first part, your system crashes, so you end up your headset gets bricked, so you have to get a new one to replace it, and you're delayed getting back online. And other little bits and pieces happen along the way while you saw there's all time jumps, and you're basically sort of completing these missions. Go back. And they get fairly complicated. There's like a whole bit where like some users decide to they don't like the fact that three of the worlds get merged together, so they rebel and they create their own like little subset pages, like their own little special sub pages called the Freelands.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a early tech it's like an early sort of map based game where it was like you have to click the buttons to like move between different pages. And it's little details like when you saw like click a button, like the little box appears around the picture and sure highlights it because you clicked it. Whereas now it's all hidden now, so you don't see that. But it's there. But it's all like you can just tell you're clicking to a picture's been put in that specific place. Really neatly done. You sort of like make your way around their page, and it's like, oh, to navigate to this person's site, you have to click through like follow the path, and by clicking arrows to sort of move on the path, and then you click on their house, and then you get to their site.
Mm-hmm.
Type thing. And I remember stuff like that. It was a pain in the ass to use. It looked really cool at the time. Very creative. Pain in the ass to use. And then the last arc is set in modern day. Literally, it's set whatever date your clock is on your computer.
Oh, neat.
That's so it's set at least 19 years later. And basically, you are part of an archive group who want to. So basically, hyperspace, like all these things that come time, they have their time of day, and eventually they go bust. But your headset being a enforcer headset, had a form of offsite backup, and you're one of the last people left with an intact enforcer headset, and you downloaded a backup of the Hyperspace OS. So this archive group set up wanting to retrieve, like, get as much out of hyperspace as they can before it's lost forever.
Yeah.
So they set up things. So you go back, and it's really weird because it's very good at creating the feeling that you are like stepping back in time. Literally, it's been a few minutes.
Yeah.
Like little things like everywhere you go on all the user page, it just says where the little bit where it's just a flagpole, it says cannot connect to server or server not found and stuff. And you're just searching through these and you can switch between like backups. If you like store backups to the previous 3 acts, you can switch between them and sort of look through the servers and stuff and find and feel like sort of like put like wanted days. Like, I'm looking for this sort of stuff, and you have to go back and try and find it in the old archives.
Mm-hmm.
It actually felt really sad because it did feel like this sort of little community had just died, and it brought back feelings because we've all, if you've been around the internet a long time,
Mm-hmm.
we've all had little communities that have died. They just don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Whether that was GeoCities, whether that was MySpace.
Mm-hmm.
Or any sort of gaming. I mean, any MMO you've been part of that no longer exists.
Yep.
A little
I
community.
remember early social networks are gone. Forums I used to be part of have just up and disappeared.
Exactly.
And
it's just, imagine if you then found an archive of it, like 20 years later, you had to go through and look through those forums and all these people's posts and their little sub-profile pages and stuff.
that'd be terrifying.
It is, but it's a really sad. It created a very sad feeling as you're going through it. it's very feel very really quite. Oh, what a shame that this is all gone.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, I did it one afternoon. It's literally about 10 minutes previous I was playing this, and it was there a minute ago. But now I'm on the full fan. They've done this great thing of like the people you're working with, they're all previous users,
Yeah.
and you can see what's happened to them. It's like, oh, like one person, oh, I was there's like the sort of like teenage hacker reappears, but he's an adult now and he works in like cybersecurity now,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got a wife and kids, and he's like, oh, I remember this sort of day. I was a little shit on here back in the day,
Yeah.
and it's really sad, and it's sort of like there was a story. I don't want to sort of go into the storyline because I don't want to. There is a sort of background storyline that plays through, and I don't want to spoil that. But it's sort of it ties up quite nice. It's a nice little storyline, but it was a really enjoyable experience. I think the only other game I've played similar to it that made me think, which was deliberately trying to riff off the old style internet, was Emily is Away, which I didn't like.
Yeah, I remember you going rather on
Ranting
that
about
one.
that, yeah. That was only because it was very railroads. The storyline was railroads. They determined how you're going to finish it, and they assumed you're going to finish it in that way, and there was no option to deviate from the railroad. Which is
Yeah.
why I didn't like it. This one's a bit more freer than that. No, it's not. It's the storyline's got a place, but because you're not, you don't really make. There's not sort of decision making. It eliminates that sort of layer out of it, so you don't have that frustration with it.
Yeah.
Because there's no sort of. You're just doing your job, basically. So yeah, really quite a neat game. There's a lot to it. I mean, I finished it in about 6 hours. But I've read online, if you dig into if you dig into every page, find all secrets, because you can customize your desktop. You can download wallpaper for your desktop,
Mm-hmm.
and you can download themes for your operating system and change the theme, like to really sort of random themes. Like I had a woodland theme at one point, and my mouse cursor turns into a frog. And
Right.
you can, but like you did in the day, you
Yeah.
downloaded themes before. Now there's everybody 6 with the default whatever theme on Windows.
Yeah.
But anyway, we all had custom curses back in the day. I remember having custom curses back in the day.
I mean, you used to get CDs with cursor packs on them, or floppy disks for magazines with cursor packs and backgrounds on them.
Yeah, I used to change all my startup sounds and music and noises and stuff on my PC. I don't obviously anymore because I can't be bothered.
Yeah. Can you?
Back in the day,
Is that even really still a thing? Yeah.
sure, it's just I'm sure it's a setting for it somewhere.
Sure.
I honestly haven't looked, but I'd be surprised if you can't. Because let's face it, although you can still beat the old school control panel, it's still there, just hidden a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
but yeah, it was a neat little game. But apparently, you can. I feel I was on Hollow Beat. Some people can take up to sort of 10 to 15 hours to find everything that's in there. There's a lot of little details. I mean, a lot of it is just filler story that just find interesting. You can sort of see how time moves on between, so you can see how people react as well. It's quite neat. So yeah, it was a fun little. It was a real sad but fun game.
Where did you get it from, Ram? Is this one of the?
It's on Steam, but I didn't get it off Steam because it was on my Steam. It's actually been on my Steam wish list, but I've took it off now because I found it on. It's actually on Xbox.
Oh.
Yep, it's on Xbox Live. So, but it's on Steam. Steam is on for $15.49. You've got it on your wish list according to my thing here.
Do I?
Yeah, apparently you have.
Mate, I've got everything on my wish list.
Yeah, this is one friend wants this game. But yeah, it's on Steam $15.49, or if you've got Xbox Live, it's on there for free at the moment.
All right.
So, but yeah, I thought it was a neat little sort of 6-hour experience.
Oh, damn.
Oh, that's cool. There's actually a little I was just looking at the other day. There's actually a little bit of video about how to go onto hyperspace. Little advert for it. That's quite cool. So
he's starting to gush. He's really into this world.
You have to look at the images of it to see what I mean, because as soon as you look at the screenshots of the game, you'll see exactly what I mean. It just looks old and oldie worldy. They've really captured the essence of it. They've done a really nice job of capturing. I mean, it's probably not perfect. I mean, obviously things like pages load quicker.
I know the one. So I think my mate Divine linked me to this a while back. I'm now looking at the pictures on on Steam. Yeah, I think this is one that my mate Divine linked me to. And the reason I added it to my list in the end is because it's Linux compatible.
Well, there you go. Yeah, they've yeah, it is really quite. It is fun. Oh, it's got virtual pets, and you can download a virtual pet.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, and I've forgotten how painful virtual pets were. Like, oh, I mean, I've downloaded this bit of software. I've got to feed it, and if I close it, it just dies.
Yeah,
Right.
don't, because my kids got virtual pets, and every time they went to school, I had to look after them, and they were annoying.
Yeah, that's what I used to have problems with. Like, you go to school, you come back, and they're like starving to death. It's like, but I'm a child. You know, I've got to go to school. You can't. What do you expect me to do?
Take them to school.
Yeah. At least let me like send them to sleep for like sort of 8 hours.
Be responsible. Look after your pets.
Your pet just starved to death. But I had extra math classes.
So, unlucky. That's what you get for wanting an education.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say if you are, this is very much if you are, I would say if you are someone young, this probably won't do a lot for you because a lot of it is riffing off the nostalgia. A lot of it is riffing off the nostalgia of the oldie worldy internet.
If you want to know what the oldie worldy internet looks like, and look at it, some of those images look really jank. That was the internet back in the day. The internet was fucking ugly.
It's a fair.
And I loved it.
It's a fair representation of it, at least sort of a process of what the internet was like.
If you want to know what the internet was like, right, there's a new kind of protocol. It's not really a new protocol. There's a new thing going about for folks. The people who don't really like the modern internet because it's all bloat and JavaScript and cookies and trackers and all that fluff. There's a new thing called Gemini out there. And literally all it is just text. It's all text-based. People put up ASCII art and stuff like that. If you want to know what old school internet's like, look up that. Well, that's probably a bit more old school than...
That's back into World Wide Web days.
Yeah, or just look up MySpace. Look up old MySpace.
Yeah, I lost my MySpace page. That's gone.
Yeah, well, most of the things we used to do when we were younger are gone. Realistically.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be fair. How many websites have we kept open other than Rand Nerds over the years? I've had quite a few, and the only thing that I've continuously worked on over the years have been things hosted on other people's sites or Rand Nerds.
Yeah.
I've had a web domain for years, but I haven't regularly posted on it, and there are times I just, nuke and repave.
Yeah.
So that, the original site is completely gone. The old articles, the old blogs, all gone. The old photo archives and that, all gone. The old code, fucking, all the project pages gone. And then I'll just go, oh yeah, we're going to go in a new direction and do this instead.
See, I'm sort of opposite. I have backups of virtually everything I've ever done.
I do, but I don't keep them online.
No.
So my web presence changes a lot. So I mentioned Gemini. I have a Gemini page, and it is up on or what they call them, capsules. I have a Gemini capsule, but I haven't updated it in months. However, I have made pages locally on my machine, so if I felt like uploading them, I could, but I just don't.
But yeah, so if you have a hankering for old school internet, check out Hyperspace Outlaw. I think you'll get more from it if you actually remember the old internet. I would thought people who don't probably won't get so much out of it because I said nostalgia plays a big part of it,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But yeah, very fun game, very neat, fun game, and I would recommend it.
Sure. Would you say it's worth £15?
No,
So get it on a sale
it's
then.
yeah, it's worth an Xbox membership.
Sure.
So
There you go.
if it was a tenner, I could probably say fair enough. But 15 quid, no, it's probably a little bit too much for it.
Sure.
So I'll probably push to a tenner.
Okay.
Cool. Right, Skazz, anything else from yourself?
No, mate. Not really. Not really a great deal I'm looking forward to. I'm actually I want to say, now that I've got this Steam box, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to go back and play all of the random shit that I wouldn't normally play.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of the 400 games that I have that are compatible with Linux. You know what I did? Do you remember when I did the old that game challenge where I had to go, the shrink wrap challenge where I had to go through a bunch of shit I hadn't played before I could go and buy more games, which thank fuck I won that. I want to do the same thing with this Linux box. Because I've got so many fucking games.
Yeah.
Just, use Linux as a way to go out of my comfort zone.
Yes.
Maybe I'll actually play some games. Maybe.
Cool. We'll look forward to seeing that.
You should do it too, Ram. Do it. See how many games you can play on like a low end Linux machine, like your laptop, or do it.
I'll have a look.
Find a different way of playing a game or something.
I'll get my Steam Deck. Right. Well, in that case,
I'm going to get a Steam Deck. We're gone. It's done.
Fair
I'm going to
enough.
get one now.
Fair enough. Well, in that case, I think it's time we wrap up.
Sure.
So, thank you much for watching. Pardon me. So, you can join us again on our next podcast, which will be on the 14th of August. You can also check out our website, randos.co.uk. Our next games night, this won't help you if you're a audio listener, the next game night is on Tuesday, which will be the
3rd, isn't it?
Look up the date. 3rd of August. And then alternate Tuesdays after that. So basically the Tuesday after wherever the podcast comes out. We're still playing for Valheim. We'll hopefully go on to the next boss. Fun with that. But yeah, you can check out our website, randos.co.uk. You can check out our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/rannerds, or our individual channels, twitch.tv Suffolk Ran,
and twitch.tv/Skazius, SK4ZZI0US.
Yeah. I am going to set up redirects on the website, I think, just redirect to the various Twitch streams.
Yeah, for sure.
YouTube.com/rannerds. You can watch us on that as well. We do have a Facebook page, Rannerds. We also have Twitter, Rannerds, as well. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks on episode 172.
Woohoo! Road to 200.
Yay!